Okay. All right. It says we're live. So, welcome from the crossroads of America. Talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. We'll answer questions from the audience either in the chat or by email at rickslifeasIseeit at gmail.com or spottedrick at gmail.com. I have a Patreon page, PayPal, and all that other good stuff in the info section below. All right. Right now, in the chat at the moment, there's Kingpin and there's Tactical FUD. That's about it right now. I know it's delayed and it's a snowy Saturday. I'm surprised that I have internet and electric, to be quite honest with you. We've even got snow here in southern Indiana. There's about maybe inch out there, but it froze. So I mean, like my driveway has a slight slope in it, and it is slippery as a son of a bitch. You can stand at the top, step on it, and slide all the way down to the bottom. So,
So you only got an inch of snow?
yeah. Oh yeah, it's not bad. I mean, but it froze. You know what I'm saying? Or it rained and froze, and a little bit of snow on top. I think it's how it went.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, we didn't get the massive storms they said we were going to get. Got the cold temperatures. I mean, today. I don't think it has a. It's just hit 20 degrees right now, and that's the highest it's been all day. So.
Yeah, well, we got the rain, which turned to ice and iced everything over, and then we got a foot and a half of snow on top of that ice.
Damn. No, we got maybe an inch at the most. You know? So, yeah.
Man, I don't understand it. From the wind pattern or something, but I only got a driveway big enough to fit like 3 cars in it, and my Acura is up front, in between the houses, and man, it's got 4 feet of snow on it. It's bigger than a delivery van or something sitting out there in the driveway. And in my everyday truck sitting right behind it, I don't have but a half inch of snow on top of it.
Yeah. Hey, Native Gun, or Shady Hill Homestead, as you're knowing now. Yeah, and Native Gun. I mean, you're over here in Indiana with me. Well, you used to be, I believe, over towards Evansville direction, if I remember correctly. I could be totally wrong, But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, you got drifts there. I mean, hell, I even drove to the big town yesterday of Jasper. I mean, I kept it in 4-wheel drive because the state roads were clear. The county roads, I think the county drivers are still in bed. You know what I'm saying? So, but I made it. It was okay. I mean, my tires are. It ain't going to make it through another winter. Let's put it that way. They are slick. I'm hoping to get them through. We discussed this the few shows ago about my tires. And I might be getting newer ones than I was going to say. I wouldn't need any to, May, June time, but I might need them. I might have to get them shortly because my front passenger side, it's developed a slow leak. I have to put air in it about every 3 days. So I might as well go down to my cousin's and get my tires. So anyway,
I had 2 flats 2 days in a row last week.
No, that sucks.
Yeah, it was 0 degrees outside. 0. When I had the first flat, I looked at my phone to see how cold it was. It said 1 degree, and I hit refresh, and it went to 0.
Oh, okay. Shady Hill Homestead. I live about 35 miles from me. All right. I see you're doing what I want to do. Shady Hill Homestead. I wouldn't mind doing that myself. But anyway, so what was I going to say? What was I going to mention? Oh yeah, I can. I hit Walmart to pick up a few groceries yesterday, and of course I went there last month. And from last month to this month, your goddamn prices have really jumped up. I mean, here's a good example: their own brand frozen pre-made garlic bread. You just heat it up in the oven, frozen, right? Pre pandemic, $1.50 for it's a good foot and a half long, I would say, right? Just what was it last month or the month before? It went up to $1.65. Yesterday, just shy of $2. So and not only that is the dollar. I mean, good example about I said I said I was going to cut back on sodas. I buy the cheapest shit there is down the dollar store, and it's $1 for a liter bottle. As of yesterday, it went up to $1.25 at the dollar store. I think they're going to have to change the name of the dollar store. There used to be $1.
The pesos general.
Yeah. Patron of Dark, I'll jump in, but I'm actually going ice skating. With hockey skates, of course. Yeah, that's right. You just want to sound manly. You're going with you're wearing a tutu and all that kind of shit. Doing that pairs ice skating crap. So sorry, I'm just giving Patron a hard time. Yeah. Now I know what I wanted to talk about. I got lots to talk about. Last couple of shows, I'm the only one that's done any talking. But a silencer or a suppressor, whichever you wish to call them. I thought the name silencer, the guy who invented them, Hiram, whatever his name was, called him a silencer. But anyway, the suppressor. Now, I don't know anything about them because I've never thought about getting one. First off, I couldn't afford one. I mean, second, then you got to fill all the extra paperwork out and pay the tax stamp and all that good shit. But I was reading one the other day from that company, Silencer Central, out of Utah or whatever, and I think there's more than one company, but they you buy one off of them, you fill out all the forms online or whatever, and they send it off to, is it the ATF is where it goes or wherever it goes to, and get all the paperwork done. And once everything comes back, it actually comes back to them. Then they transfer it to sort of like if I was the buyer, they would transfer it over to me, and then they send it to my house. But anyway, where I was going with this is, it said this new type of suppressor it's modular. It comes apart. You can add different things on it, so it will work from a 22 up to a 454 by changing things on it. But you can hook it up to your firearm, and you don't have to have a threaded barrel. You have to buy a special thing. And what I want to know is, what's that thing? How does that?
Probably an adapter. Well, it's obviously an adapter. So that piece you'd most likely put on your barrel somehow. And then obviously put the can or whatever, or suppressor onto that.
Yeah, I just wondered how that worked. You know what I'm saying?
I'd almost imagine it'd have to be some sort of clamp or something if it's not actually threading onto the barrel. It would have to clamp over the barrel, and I don't know. I've never heard of anything like that. So
well, you go to their
Google their
I was
product.
trying to read up on it, and it didn't make sense to me. But it's some sort of clamp or something. That's as much as I could figure out. But how it actually clamps on,
Well,
that's
they
the part I haven't figured out.
I know they have like quick detach suppressors, but they're attaching to like a like your compensator, your flash hider, a special one that's made for it. So
Yeah,
they
like
come on off.
if I was
So, but
putting one on my AR.
the barrel would still be threaded for the first piece. You know what I mean? So I don't know what they put one on there that's not threaded to the barrel.
Well, that's how it was advertised. It said you could put this on either threaded or non-threaded barrels. That's what it said. That's what made me ask. Maybe I should need to do some more research. Hey, anyway, let me introduce my panelists. I ain't done that yet to everybody who's coming to chat. Just walked in the door. We got Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
Doing well, thanks, Rick.
Then we got Jason Stewart.
Good afternoon. Good to see you, Rick.
Yeah. Then we got Good-O, New York Outcast.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Then we got the one and only Squibload.
Hey, Rick, have you noticed for New York Outcast, other than being pink, his avatar here is the word no.
Yeah.
And every time you want to do something fun,
no is his answer.
Yeah.
Yes, I have noticed that.
That's funny.
Yeah. I did notice the pink, but each to their own is what I say.
Well, it's just like New York. No.
Hey, I don't pick the color.
So, but yeah, knows everything because he is a Debbie Downer. Everything you want to do. So let's see. Vanessa's joined us in the chat. Who else is there? Patriot in the Dark. Jason Stewart's in the chat. Ozzy's joined us. Justin Grimm has joined us. So people are starting to come in on this code. I don't know about everywhere else. This code Saturday afternoon here. But that's okay. So none of you have had any with this type of silencer that fits on a non-threaded barrel. I take it. I have to do some more research. I was hoping you guys would have the answer for me.
Probably I don't have any info on it. I feel it can definitely be done. I don't want to get into details on why. And I think the pressure would even tighten it up, but that's a whole nother.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, this is totally legal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I don't, besides, that's like the only new thing though, because there's already suppressors that you can add on and add on and add on.
Yeah.
For all different calibers. So, what would be interesting, I guess, if it was a lower decibel than something else comparable, and you can clamp on or something, the clamp on to people that don't want to thread or something like that. So,
yeah, I just thought it was a good idea. I thought it was a good idea for me, for argument's sake. I've lost my chat. My chat's disappeared on me. But no, what I was going to say is, for somebody like me who has never thought about it, what have I gotten? 9 firearms, I think. Not one of them is threaded. You know what I'm saying? So something like that would really work great.
Keep in mind, if you're referring to handguns, your barrel is probably going to have to be a certain length. And, that may vary with types of handguns, things like that. So,
yeah. But then again,
rifle, a lot easier, unless you got a guard over the whole thing.
Yeah.
Depending on the size and whatnot. So,
Yeah. I mean, be honest with you, if I was going, I was just curious, But if I really was going to buy a suppressor or silencer or whatever you wish to call it, I would buy one for the AR-15. If I was going to buy one, because it's loud. I mean, the AR-15 is a loud weapon.
I'd
There ain't
make one.
there ain't no two ways around it.
Make one because I'm cheap and pay for the stamp.
Make one. Are you still allowed? Are you legally allowed to make a suppressor?
Yeah, you can make one. You got to submit it, and there's a process to it, but you can legally do it.
Okay, all
right. This is easy. All right, it's tapered. So with the threads turned all the way to, I'm guessing, to the left, counterclockwise, it's all the way open for the largest barrel that is designed. And as you tighten it down, it tapers like a cone or something to clamp to smaller diameter barrels. That's what it looks like to me. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me looking at this thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Is it like how you can put it on a pistol? Is it just like for a rifle barrel that you have a barrel? Because most pistols, semi-automatics, there's no barrel sticking out. How you gonna
No,
put anything on?
I don't think. See, that's just it. The way they market it, I think it might be a misnomer. If you don't have a suppressor capable barrel, if there's not enough sticking out, you're not going to clamp it to the slide. It just doesn't work like that. Just looking at some pictures here, I'm thinking you're going to have to buy a barrel. Yeah, I think you're going to have to buy. I mean, just like you would if it was a regular thread on, right?
Yeah, so you might as well buy a threaded barrel if you got to buy another barrel.
Yeah.
But I could see that working on rifles. I mean, for argument's sake, I could take off the on my AR-15 and put on a suppressor on there, or would I leave that on and use that? I don't know.
Probably take it off so you can thread it on, or thread on your quick detach.
Yeah. Well, it was just something I was thinking about because I said I'm new. It's just something I've never really looked into having one, but I saw an advertisement for it and it caught my eye, and I thought, oh, I'll ask the guys. They know, because they're more they know more about guns than I do. So, but anyway, that's okay.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it before, but I was just now thinking about it. I ought to get a suppressor. Try it out. Shit, they really don't cost that much. Like half the price of a gun I usually buy.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I
I
could get
guess
two suppressors.
I guess what puts a lot of people off is the wait time.
Yeah, I heard that's not as bad as it used to be, though. I heard that since they got all those new computer kiosks and stuff and electronic fingerprints, I heard that process is sped up quite a bit. I think you're into months instead of a year,
Yeah, anyway, they need to find out who you are. They can look you up on the ATF database they have of every gun owner.
Yeah.
I think on average it's probably around 500, something like that, for your average deal, including your stamp. So the piece itself maybe three to five, and then you got your stamp. Just on average is what I'm thinking. So, and I could be a little off, but I don't think they're too much. Like the price of I don't know, of an average of a Glock or something like that, you could probably get one. But also keep in mind, as soon as you do, you are, opening yourself up to an ATF inspection at any given point. Not stating it's common or anything like that, but that comes with the package.
All right. Were you looking at the Hybrid 46, the Silencer Co. Hybrid 46? Is that the one you were looking at?
It was company Silencer Central.
Okay. Because I looked up the Silencer Co. Hybrid 46, which is a multi-caliber 22 to 338. All right. That's $800. Most silencers I've looked at have been around $1,200. I'm not saying you can't find a $200 suppressor, but they say the more you spend, the better it works and the longer it lasts. Most suppressors that I've looked at when I've been at the store looking at them are as much or more than the gun it goes on. And that's been one of the reasons I haven't bought a suppressor. I don't care about that ATF garbage because they're not going to come to your house unless you did something or unless somebody reported you, even if it's a false report. They don't just come knocking on your door and going, "Hi, we're the ATF. We just randomly picked your address out of all the ones we have, and we just want to, check out your stuff." You are signing a document saying that they have the right to do that because you have an NFA item, but this is just like so many other things. Exactly when did they do this? If they're coming for you because you broke a law or they think you broke a law, they're coming for you. So it doesn't matter whether it's a parking ticket or an NFA item.
Yeah, it's all right. I was just seeing if I could find what I saw the other day. I was just seeing if I could bring it up real quick.
Yeah, I've never actually compared a suppressor to, one to another or anything like that. Like the last suppressor I used that was $1,200, and I thought it was just fine, but I didn't have a $200 one there to screw onto the gun to do a comparison. It helps to have friends with these things, but most of my friends aren't cheapskates. Maybe just one or two.
Yeah, who always say no. No, I can't find it. I'm not going to wait. I was just curious. That's all. So, anyway,
start talking about eating mac and cheese and salads, and I'll say yes.
Why would anybody want to eat mac and cheese? I never have figured that one out.
Because it's good and it's warm and it's yummy.
And American.
It goes with everything. Yeah, and it's American.
Yeah. I can think of a lot of other stuff that I'd rather have. So, God dang, I got to get a new computer. This thing is so slow now that it's become a pain in the ass. Well, actually, because I use Chrome, and Chrome's so goddamn bloated, it's unreal. So, anyway, I was just that was just something I was talking. Anyway, what I do want to mention, I see that my buddy on Caliber Corner this morning was trying to get rnldisplays.com to sponsor his channel. I heard him keep asking. Or he might have asked once. But I just want to say I've got an rnldisplay.com there. You see the wall mount with my AR hanging on it. He also, which I find very surprising, but he's a businessman, because I'm surprised that he makes one for Glock magazines as much as he detests Glocks. But he's a businessman, so I guess he's got to, he's got to do it. So anyway, where I was going with this is you go to rnldisplays.com and at the checkout, type in Rick's Life and you get a 15% discount. Now, I get nothing for that. I just wanted to hasten to add, I get nothing out of it. I just do it to help the company out. So
it's one of the best things you can do for your Glock. I mean, wood's stronger than plastic.
Yeah. Is there really any help for a Glock? I mean, is there?
Poor vision. Bad taste.
Yeah.
Hey, those American-made displays will jazz just about anything up.
Yeah, but I'll just Night Strike in the chat says mac and cheese is American. Yeah, plus he's put your link down there on rnldisplays.com too. So I know mac and cheese is American because I mean no other country would claim it. You know? So now I'm trying to think what I actually made myself some Welsh rabbit the other day. Cheese on toast.
And he talks crap about mac and cheese.
You know?
Continue.
And I used American cheese because I'd run out of cheddar. And oh my God, it was disgusting. And you don't realize how salty American cheese is. You know? But it just didn't do it for me. You know?
So you had American cheese on toast.
Yeah.
Like a
But
grilled
then again,
cheese.
see, you're eating plastic.
We're supposed to take the wrapper off before you put the cheese on there.
Hey, there ain't much difference between the wrapper and the cheese. American cheese or processed cheese, as it's known, it's only a couple of molecules away from plastic. You know?
You ever tried cheddar?
So I used to,
On your
that's
sandwich?
what I normally use. I said I'd run out of cheddar.
All right. So,
You know, I made
Yeah,
sure
that's-
when I went shopping yesterday, I bought a big 1 pound block of cheddar.
When I was a little kid, my grandma used to make me grilled cheeses all the time. She was in a hurry and she made me a grilled cheese sandwich once, and she forgot to take the cheese slice out of the wrapper. And I bit into it and burnt the living hell out of the inside of my mouth.
And you've never eaten one since.
Oh yeah, I've ate them. I eat them all the time.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. Burnt the shit out of me, and everybody got so upset. She was all upset about it. She went to make me another grilled cheese, and she's so upset she forgot to put the cheese in the thing at all. handed me 2 pieces of bread.
No, Night Strike. I do like grilled cheese sandwiches. I normally have them every Wednesday evening after the show. You know, and
Do you eat spaghetti?
We've had this discussion before. There's a difference between a grilled cheese sandwich and cheese on toast. You know,
What about spaghetti or goulash, right?
I like all those.
Really?
Yes, I don't like cooking them, but I like.
So
them.
you like the cheese, you like the noodle. What the hell is the problem?
It's just the mixture of it together. It just, I don't know. It's a different noodle to start with. Then
Did somebody traumatize you with some mac and cheese? You don't want to tell us?
Yes. You know, I don't know. I just don't like it. It just, I don't know. It's just, I think maybe because it's got too much cheese on it for me. You know, I don't know. I just don't. I said if you invited me to your house and you served it up, I would eat it. You know, but I'm not buying. I mean, I've got boxes of mac and cheese in the cupboard here.
That's not the same. That's not real mac and cheese, man.
I know, but when shit hits
I can
the
understand
fan,
that liking
I've got
that.
some. You know, but what I'm saying is, I don't touch them. I would never make it. I would never buy it.
So
I just don't want it.
You don't do macaroni and cheese casserole or anything?
Do what?
You don't eat macaroni and cheese casserole?
Nope.
Oh,
I don't
casserole.
I don't eat macaroni.
Well, look, man, that's
All
good.
I eat is what you call it, the meatballs and garlic bread and stuff. That's all I eat when it comes to noodles.
I was unaware that the British were communists.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just a different flavor of communism.
Yeah. So I'm not going over this argument. You guys, I mean, I just don't like mac and cheese, and that's just the bottom line. I'm sorry. That makes me un-American in your eyes. You know, what can I say? So, there was, what else was I going to talk about? We talked about R&L displays. I've done my plug for them. Talked about silencers. What else was there? I'm trying to keep it away from politics as much as I can because of the it just gets me upset. It just gets me upset. That's all. So I was I said I was down the diner yesterday. I drove down there and it was fried chicken yesterday. Man, it was it good.
Ooh-wee.
All right, I had fried chicken, French fries, 16-ounce sweet tea with tax. It cost me, and what she started doing now, which I don't blame her, is because her price is so cheap. She's starting to put a little surcharge on if you use plastic. You know, but so where I'm going with this is that meal, everything included, cost me $10.05.
A surcharge? What sort of un-American crap is that? You guys talking about it's un-American for him not to eat mac and cheese. It's un-American to pay a surcharge or use a credit card.
Hey, what can I
It's
say?
un-American not to use cash.
You know,
That's right.
I normally always pay in cash at the diner, but I didn't have any yesterday. So I paid in plastic.
The only people carrying around cash all day are people who drive armored cars and drug dealers.
Yeah.
No.
You know, but this,
I was once certified to drive an armored car, but never did.
yeah, but the little surcharge I don't like the surcharge on the plastic. You know,
It's because she gets hit with a surcharge for you using it.
yeah,
So she's
I know.
actually losing money.
That's her piss poor business management skills.
It's
You
what,
factor that into the
2% or
cost.
something?
It depends. It depends on the service you use. Some places they pay a flat rate for the credit card transaction, whether it's a penny or it's $1 million, and other places pay a percentage. And just there's all kinds of stipulations to it. It's who you set yourself up with, which is the business owner's choice. And if you don't look at that as the same as saying, hey, I provide a restroom in here, but not everybody who comes in here to eat is going to go plug the toilet, you know, there's a cost, and just other things. Maintaining the parking lot, there's a cost. All these other costs. You know, now you can nickel and dime it and try to figure out down to the penny what each customer is going to cost you, which I think is a waste of time, or you can come up with a fair average. But it's not my fault that you don't want to get with the Century and accept plastic. If she charges and the place across the way doesn't, unless she's got the best food in town, I'm going to give my business to the other place.
Don't take squib the dubs.
I understand where you're coming from, but she is the only place in town. She is the only place in a 20-mile radius.
So what if she was $5 cheaper? Would you still go there or to the other place just because they don't do the surcharge?
You asking him or me?
You.
I'd probably go to the other place. I'm not saying I've never paid cash for something. I'm not saying I've never dealt with a only cash situation, but in general, I typically don't. Whether I use cash or not, I just don't like that crap. I was walking down a street while on vacation, and there was a whole bunch of restaurants, and there was one I really wanted to go to. I had heard about this place. They've got one of those garbage burgers, you know, where it's like, you know, a quadruple burger with everything on it, and it's, you know, thousands of calories and stuff like that. There's a big sign in the entrance, little fold up kind of sign there. You almost have to trip over to get through the doorway, and it says cash only. I kept walking.
Good, because us cash people don't want your credit card business anyway.
Yeah. But I said I normally pay in the diner. I normally pay cash at the diner. But I normally use plastic everywhere else. But in the diner, I normally pay cash because I can live it, you know, it's easier for me to, I don't like if she says, you know, that's $10, I'll go If I've only got plastic, I'll go put an extra $1 on there for yourself. So now I'm being charged $11. And it all adds into the percentage of surcharge he puts on there. So,
Now, here's the thing, barbecue. I might go to the place that's $5 more because I literally don't have cash on me, or I've only got enough cash for a tip, because I don't like to put the tip on the credit card. I like to leave a cash tip. I will leave a tip with a gift card, though. Let's say I've got a $150 gift card and we spend $120 on dinner that night. I'll let the waiter or waitress keep the $30 difference if they did a great job, because it's already on the gift card and I just don't want to keep track of it, that sort of thing. But I typically save the little bit of cash that I rarely carry on me for things like tips or something where it's not a whole lot of money and it's absolutely cash only, and I've got to do it. I have not tipped when the service has been crap, but I don't like putting tips on a credit card. That to me is un-American too. But you go to some of these more big box restaurants, I guess you could call them, right? They don't pull that crap. The same thing I guess might be said if, let's say, there was two of the same restaurant in the towns, two towns, and the towns are next to each other, and it's literally like a 10-minute drive apart, and one town has a city sales tax and the other one doesn't. Guess where I'm going to?
The one that doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can understand, but a lot of these big stores, they absorb the cost of using the companies for their, for credit card charges. Some small companies can't afford to now.
One of the things I was gonna say though is, like the big chain restaurants, you're also gonna be paying more. Like Rick just said, Deb's cheap; she keeps it cheap. But in doing that, she's saying, "Hey, we prefer cash because then we don't have this $3 $3, this 3% or 4% surcharge that's being charged just by the bank every time we swipe your card." And I think about it like gun shops. I don't know how many gun shops I go to around here. They've got two prices written on the tag. There's a cash price, and then there's a price written on it that says card. But if you want to compare it to big names, Cabela's doesn't do that. It's just straight across the board. But I'd much rather go and buy from my local shop than the big box store.
Yeah.
We had a guy over here. He was probably, I don't want to say the biggest gun store in town, but he had maybe the most variety. He was willing to do transfers, and he had the most flexible hours. We'll say that, right? Mm-hmm. Out of the other gun stores, because the other gun store, one was really cheap, but they're on the edge of town and they're never open. You go one town over to the upper class one, and their prices for transfers are crazy or what. So I dealt with this guy, and he was cash only for transfers. So he'd let me buy the gun with my credit card, or I would order it online with credit. So but I had to pay cash for the transfers, and I couldn't stand it because his prices were high. They still weren't as high as some of the other ones, but cash only. It drove me up a wall, right? And he changed the price or something, and it just, I carry the bare minimum on me. So if the transfer's $50 and it suddenly goes to $65, it's like, hey, dude, I don't know what to tell you. We'll go to the bank. It's like, whatever. Well, when this other store opened nearby in town, he's a small little shop, but he said $25 cash credit. I don't give a crap. And that guy's gotten all my business since then. That guy went from the smallest store in the strip mall to the corner one that's the biggest one. He carries a lot more stuff. He's always busy. And he's still to this day doesn't pull the whole credit card crap, and he hasn't changed his transfer fees, even though he knows his competition charged 3 times as much for a transfer. Just good business. It's a matter of practicing good business.
And that's the thing, like with the transfer fee, when you really look at it, it's only $5 for the next background check. So when shops are charging 30, 40, 50 bucks, I've heard of places out in California that are charging $200, which is just absurd. Um, a lot of people are like, that's insane, 30 bucks. Well, there is the aspect that one, they've got to keep these records for 20 years. If the ATF and Biden have their way with this redefinition of firearms and receivers, they'll have to keep them indefinitely at that point. But, so part of that cost is, just storage and stuff like that. But no, that's a great thing. If the other places are like, say around here, if you're saying he was 3 times as low as the next person, so he'd be charging $10 instead of 30. That'd be a great way to get people in your shop and get them to buy stuff. So I think that's brilliant.
When I was at one of the shops in the past, I said, hey, if I buy one of the guns behind the counter, would you waive the transfer fees? I think I was buying like 4 or 5 guns that day. I had them shipped in. I was doing, or 4 or 5 transfers, I should say. And I go, would you waive the transfer fees on these? And he goes, no, I'll make more off the transfers than I do off selling that gun. And I'm going, really? But I've also heard that too. I've heard that when they sell a used gun, they make a lot more money than selling a new gun. And, there's all kinds of things. It's obvious they make more off of ammo and other things, right?
New guns have a very low profit margin because, there's the MSRP, which then obviously gun is almost always cheaper than MSRP because everybody's trying to, sell it because it's supposed to be hot, it's new or something like that. Then you figure when they get a used gun in, normally they only pay 70% of retail for that gun. So when you're talking, if they're lucky, a 10% profit margin on a new gun or a 30% profit margin on a used gun, that's where that comes in. I don't understand how the heck he's making more money on the transfer unless he's charging you per gun since you bought it offline, which that kind of seems suspect too because it's all going on the same 4473. So at that point, that's just him going, well, you bought 4 guns, $30 a piece, give me $120, even though it's only going to cost me $5 to run this transfer.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of capitalism is you can take your business elsewhere. I mean, I guess in your case, Rick, you're stuck. If she's literally the only restaurant and you've got to drive a half hour, an hour to another restaurant, then you're kind of stuck. And I do hear people say that sort of stuff. I can't find a job because it's an hour drive to town, or, oh, the only place to shop for ammo is Walmart because we don't have anything else in our and it's like, well, dude, you live there, so I don't know what to tell you.
The problem is just on that whole idea of the only place I can get ammo is Walmart. People need to friggin' get on the Google machine and start typing, local gun shop into the friggin' Google machine and see what pops up around their area. Because, man, just in my area alone, there's 4 or 5 new gun shops that have popped up in the last year and a half. I can't believe how close they are to each other. To me, all within, I'd say probably a 30-minute drive or so. And I'm like, I just want to go in, check them out, see what they're selling, stuff like that, see how they are. But I mean, like I said, that's 4 or 5 within 30 minutes that are new. Doesn't count all the established ones already.
Well, despite the fact that having an FFL means you give up some of your personal privacy and your business privacy, the ATF can come into your store, come into your home, blah, blah, blah. And despite the fact that the profit margin on new guns is not that great, owning an FFL, if you run it well, is very lucrative. It's worth the risk or the annoyance or whatever. I've considered starting up an FFL because almost everyone I've seen in my area they've exploded. I mean, as far as just taking off and branching out, opening up other locations, building a range, getting a bigger store. The ones that I've seen do lousy are the ones, like I was talking about, that one that's on the edge of town that has a crappy hours. We're open like from noon to 4, 3 days a week. Well, dude, how do you ever
that's tough.
expect to make a,
Say, but it's funny that you say that, Squid, because back when I went to school for gunsmithing, one of the things that they told us was find local gunsmiths, go to their shop, see if they'll give you a tour of their place, things like that. Just get to know them. Maybe they'll let you apprenticeship or anything like that. Which that's funny. Nobody friggin' was doing that. So I went around to local shops that had gunsmiths and whatnot. Every shop that I talked to said that they were willing to sell out right then. And I was just like, what? And I said, would you ever do it again? And they're like, nope.
Yeah. But I
think after 30 years of doing it, I think it just wears on guys. And they're like, well, at first it's fun and it's this great job and it's a dream job. But after 30, 40 years of doing it, it just turns into a giant friggin' headache where guys just like, I wish I wouldn't have.
Yeah. But I think a lot of these FFLs who have trouble. It's not so much the actual business of the selling the guns. It's the rent or the taxes on the building they're using. Where a lot of them get into trouble or get tired of it.
Well, a lot of, at least around here, a lot of the gun shops are privately owned, where they're not paying they're not paying rent or anything. They own the land that the shop's on, and they own the building, all that fun jazz. But yeah, that could definitely hem up some guys if they're not taken into account. First thing is just insurance, because that's one of the things they told us. Go talk to your local shops, find out what they're looking at for liability insurance per year, things like that. The one shop I talked to was paying $8,000 per year in liability insurance, and they made them stop selling smokeless powder, and they made them stop gunsmithing. The other shop that I went and talked to was paying 10 grand a year. Another shop that I talked to was paying 10 grand a year, and as he put it, was just for the storefront. That didn't include his gunsmithing, and that didn't include his indoor range that he operated.
Yeah. See, another thing too you got to worry about is these towns and counties and cities, who have become sort of anti-gun with zoning laws and everything else. Some of them make it very hard for a gun store to operate.
I could see you
stuff on there.
Setting up the store 40 years ago and everything was cool, and now it's crap. And that is the point where you sell or whatever. But at that point, I would think that you're doing pretty wealthy. I mean, I've known people who've owned small businesses throughout my life, and a lot of them are doing really well. The ones that aren't are the ones that, once again, they were just plain lazy. I want a small business because I don't want to work for the man. And they take that attitude to their small business, and they don't succeed, and they end up working for the man in the end. The people that are, giving up years of their lives and working all kinds of crazy hours and all this other stuff are the ones that build their business up to something that later they can expand and hire people and have people manage it and sell it one day and make millions and go retire to a beach or whatever. And I'm not saying every job makes you millions, but when you see a store expand, or you see a business expand or something like that, to me, that's a sign that they're doing well. Maybe the owner isn't putting all that back in their pocket because they understand that they have to sacrifice to build something. My FFL has told me some of the things that, he doesn't like about the job. I walked in there one day right after somebody got mad because he wouldn't sell him a gun. And the guy damaged the door. He actually had the police out there to file a report so he could file a claim with his insurance because the guy kicked the door and screwed it up and all this other stuff. But the paperwork, the headache, the know-it-all customer, the guy that wants to argue with you, the guy that won't show you their ID and still wants the gun, the guy that's going to go, I'm not paying this much for ammo, then don't pay this much for ammo.
Yeah. Oh, Ozzy out there says he likes buying his guns from Rural King, free transfer. No, I didn't know they did transfers at Rural King. Oh, we got a Rural King up the road. It has a good gun department in there. You know, it's normally one of the few places around here that has plenty of ammo too.
Yeah, I've never had an issue with Rural King.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, certain parts of the country don't have Rural King. I know.
Yeah, we just started getting them a couple of years ago over here in PA.
Yeah.
Took them a little while to start expanding east to us, but they finally got here. Now, if Menards would do it.
I got issues with Royal King here. I
Oh,
can't
yeah?
stand them. Yeah. I went there to buy a gun. Well, first of all, they got trigger guards and strings on the things, so you can't really truly handle the damn gun. But bought a gun anyways. Bought a Beretta PX4 Storm, and did the 4473 and everything, and came back. I got the 3-day delay, right? So they said, well, you got to put the gun in layaway. So I gave them like all the money, but a few bucks from the thing, right? And I said, I'll pick it up on, I come back. Okay. Well, I come back in 3 days, and I want my gun, here I layaway. Oh, we haven't got an answer back yet. Okay. Yeah, that's how it works, right? Oh, no, you got to have an answer. So we got to wait 30 days. And if we don't get an answer from them back on it, then you'll fill out another one and start all over again. I was like, no, I won't. So I was like, give me all my money back. Well, then they charged me like $10 or $15 restocking fee. And I just won't give him any more business for that. I drove literally 15 minutes down the road to the gun store that I've always do all my business with. Walked right in there. Hey, man, I need this Beretta. Okay, man, I'll have it here like Tuesday. Okay, thanks, man. See you later. And that's why I do business with them.
Yeah. Now, I can understand that. I mean, that would piss me off too. But even though the law says if they don't answer you back in 3 days, you can have the gun. But isn't it up to the FFL's discretion?
Yes, that's what I was getting ready to say.
And
that's why he's pissed.
But that's the only place I've ever known to do that.
Yeah.
But that's also a big box. Well, here, Jason, let me put it in perspective for you. That's a big box store that has everybody and their mother coming in. They have no idea who you are. And that's why it's so great to find a good FFL in your area, mom and pop store that you can go in, have them be familiar with you, make or establish a rapport with them. That way, if something does like that happen, well, you bought friggin' 12 guns off me in the last 2 years. You've come back good every time. I have no problem selling you this gun because the NIC system didn't come back in 3 days. But when it's something like Rural King or Cabela's or anything like that, that they can't take that chance. They have no idea who you are. Great, it didn't come back in 3 days, but what if you're Jeffrey Dahmer? So those bigger stores,
I understand.
They're kind of tied up. But the restocking fee, that's kind of BS to me because one, well, I guess it was probably put back in the gun room since you put the money down on it. But even still, that's ridiculous because they took it out of the gun room to put it back in the case. Big whoop.
Okay, so wait a minute. I have to know the restocking fee. When you paid it, did you pay in cash?
Yeah.
Okay, see, if you'd use your credit card, you could call your bank after you leave the store and say it was a fraudulent charge.
It tested it. Yeah, should have done that.
Yeah. Now, question. I mean, I'm trying to remember what they said about FFLs. I thought if they don't come back within 3 days, they can, if they want, show you the gun. But I thought they had a maximum time of like 10 days or something.
What do you mean?
They don't answer.
What do you mean the maximum time?
The government? Yeah, the government's got 3 days. They made the damn law. We're just following the law that you made. If they can't give up an answer in 3 days and do their job, then you can't be infringed. If it's like wait for them to finally do something, that's totally infringement every second, every tick of the day. They created their own law. They have to follow their own law. In 3 days, you should be able to have your stuff if they don't say proceed.
But you
Now, I
can.
know it's up to the store,
Yep.
but I mean, that's, after 3 days, really after like 15 minutes, or maybe on some instances the next day, if you don't hear from them, you're not going to hear from them.
Now, is the store held liable if they released a gun to you after the 3 days without the information back?
Only in New York State, California, New Jersey.
Yeah.
I would think it more than likely probably not, because it's it's already the law in a sense. So,
but at the same time, I could see a civil suit trying to hold them liable at that point.
No, it's on that 4473. What was the response? There's either proceed, deny, delay, and then no further. They check a box that says they never got nothing else from you. So it's not on their ass. It's not on the store's ass. You can't sue them for something. They follow the law.
Well, in Michigan, you can't.
And say, with everything else that people are allowed to try and sue over for civil suits and everything, I'm sure there's going to be some ambulance chaser out there that would try it. Whether it sticks or not is another thing. But at the end of the day, big box stores are looking at it as, we don't want to take that chance. When I drove truck, we had somebody rear end one of our drivers, and our company still paid out $15,000 because the driver of that car that rear ended our truck was gonna take and sue us in court. So to avoid this civil litigation, they just paid out $15,000 to make it go away, because it would have ended up costing more in the long run to fight it.
Yeah, but the thing is, say you get held up on your purchase, and you come get your gun, and the store lets you have it in 3 days. If a week later the ATF is like, oh, we finally checked up on him, and hell, he's an ex-felon, don't let him have it. The gun store's like, too bad, we already did.
But then there's the game of cat and mouse where
that's the ATF's job to go find you and get the gun back. It doesn't have anything to do with Royal King of the gun store. It ain't their ass no more.
Oh, that part of it,
so, it's up to the ATF to do what they do.
But when you're thinking about it, though, if hey, we got no response in 3 days, government says, it's yours, here you go. What they're worried about is, you are a prohibited person. You're going to go out and you're going to, massacre friggin' chicken coop over at Joe Bob's, and it's going to be all over the news, and they'll be like, who sold this to him? Rural King.
If it's, what,
so
man,
even if
Joe Bob's chickens had it coming, and they were quite tasty.
If the cops show up here or get behind me and run my license plate, or they come to my house for something or whatever, they hit my record and they get the answer in 30 fucking seconds.
Mm-hmm.
The FBI gets 3 whole days. If they can't come up with an answer, then that's too bad on them, man.
But you're missing the point. That you keep saying the FBI, ATF, NICS system. Rural King has an FFL. It's no different. You're a contractor. You have licenses and all kinds of crap like that I'm sure you have to jump through the state. And if you were to say, well, I don't feel comfortable doing this or that, and the customer says, screw you, do it. This is what I want done. You get to say, well, it's my job, it's my license, it's my livelihood, or you cut the corners and hope nothing ever happens.
So barbecue, you're right in the sense that these are big box stores. They have a national image, and they got bean counters and everything else. They are worried about getting sued, or just paying, it's cheaper to settle than to fight it, et cetera, et cetera. And in some communist states, you can get sued civilly when you haven't been prosecuted criminally, but not everywhere. Regardless, what you're saying is true, and I get it. I tried to buy a gun at a store once. It was a chain store, and they said, "You're from out of state." I said, "Yeah, but it's a long gun." And he says, "I can't sell it to you." I said,
Yep.
"Yeah, you can." And he said, "Look, dude, I know what the law is, and you're right. I can. It's a long gun, but the company policy, because we just got bought out by a big company, company policy says I want." He goes, "I'd love to sell it to you, but company policy," and I got it right. But Jason, here's your thing. As an American, as a capitalist, you can take your business elsewhere and you can never give Rural King another damn dime of your money again. And they may not care. They, in the grand scheme of things, they go, "What's this one guy?" But you're talking about potentially with all the ammo you buy and everything else, thousands upon thousands of dollars over the course of your lifetime that they lost out on because, you know what, I could understand you being frustrated, but the restocking fee would have done it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing, though, I just have a bad Royal King too. That's 50% of it. The people there are complete idiots. The manager is a bitch, and it's a real small department. Now I know in a town nearby, if you go to that Royal King, they got a huge, firearms and outdoor section. I mean, 10 times the size of ours. Guns everywhere. A true gun guy behind the counter. You know what I mean? It's much different. I've got a terrible one. I got one that you can call, and even when you can't get them on the phone, and even when you're in the store, you'll sit there and the phone will just ring 100 times. An employee won't even pick it up and answer it, and they give you smart ass answers.
Sure, this is in Walmart you're talking about?
Yeah, I called one thing before. I'd already had a couple bad experiences with them. They were advertising Colt AR-15 rifles one day. I got the newspaper ad. I opened it up and they had the Colt AR-15s. They were the fake ones, the Expanse models, but I didn't know that at the time. But I was like, oh man, they were a good price. So I called them on the phone, finally got them on the phone. I got their ad right here in my hand and I asked them, do you have any of these in stock out there? And they got like mad at me on the phone and told me, we don't sell Colt rifles, and like hung up on me. But I got your ad right here in my hand. It says Colt rifle. It's like $499.99. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? But then I went out there. They advertised a Winchester cleaning kit and range bag and everything. It was like cheap for like $15. And I go out there and I look all over and I can't find them. And it turned out to be, oh, that's a online thing only. So I came home and bought one online, and I swear it took like a month and a half or something to be delivered. So I just never had a good experience with Royal
I
King.
just stay away from Rural King.
And everybody goes out there, say they got lots of ammo. They got a lot of junk ammo company brands, at least here. And they don't have much here, man. They're on the cheap end. And now they got other stuff in the store that I like. You know what I mean? From clothes to little tools or this or that. But then you go back where they sell DeWalt tools and stuff, and they're $50 to $100 more each tool than I can run across the street in Lowe's and get it. So I just don't like the store. They don't have nothing for me. I know a lot of people like my brother, everything he buys from them. But I'm just not that person.
I'd also like to say, because Jason, I wasn't like trying to push for you to be like, oh, you should buy from Rural King. Don't worry about those things. No, like, don't take that as me trying to persuade you or anything. Because, like I said, that's crap with a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. I just like to point out for listeners why some big box stores have the policies that they do, things like that. But this is also why I always persuade, or at least try to persuade people to seek out a mom and pop local gun shop.
Yeah, we know Rural King's paying you. We know.
I wish.
Chilling for the king.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, the bigger stores are.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, the bigger stores are cheaper, so that's why people like Walmart, all that type of stuff. It's usually your best deal on ammo in a sense. So seems like a lot of people tend to try to jump towards that first. Where
I will give a shout out to Royal King though, like since you mentioned that, Rob. When I see their ads, man, they can be like sometimes $79 or so cheaper on a pistol than what you're going to get at one of the other stores here.
So you guys know why that is, right?
So they have
the mom and sorry. Good. I was going to say that the mom and pops, the issue is with them. A lot of them got attitudes. A lot of them are only open so many hours. A lot of them are overpriced. I'm all about mom and pops, but there's a lot of asshole mom and pops.
Yeah, and there is.
So, the big box are fairly consistent. The mom and pops, you really got to put some time in to find a place that fits you, in my opinion. So, but I think it's well worth doing because the money's better spent there, in my opinion. But you're still probably going to pay a little bit more than these big box stores, but you get better service. So it's, depends which way you want to look at it. So that's all I was throwing in there. So I don't support the big box, but it is the best, cheapest place you're going to get the stuff.
And the reason why big box stores are cheaper is because they're able to buy in bulk. So whenever you go, I shouldn't say you, but whenever a shop goes and contacts your distributor, or if they're fortunate enough to be able to just go straight through the manufacturer, they can say, hey, I want X amount of Glock 19s, Gen 3s, for example.
Buy in bulk. It's cheaper, but everybody knows that. But still, the little guy likes to dick people over. Like, they want to throw an extra $5 per box when they're buying it from the same distributor the big guy bought it from, or from the actual big distributor themselves afterward and reselling it. So
they don't have a price that's set in stone. They don't have a contract.
Well, here's the thing, though. So your mom and pop shop might be like, yeah, send me 5 Glocks. And they might, if they get 5 Glocks, they might get 1 for free, which is where that helps with their profit margin a little bit. But the big box stores, they go, yeah, send us 10,000 of those. How many they get?
You already made that point with, you get a discount if you buy more.
You do the same thing with ammo. They're saying, send me,
correct,
tens of thousands of boxes of that, and they're distributing it amongst 100 stores.
I was just going to say
a little more. Oh, go ahead.
Well, with things like, with the Ammo Crunch or Rick's Primers or whatever, right? All right, he goes to Joe Blow gun store down on the corner there in nowhere, Indiana, and they're like, primers, we ain't seen those in 2 years. But if he drives to Indianapolis and goes to Bass Pro Shop, he can buy primers all day long, right?
Yep.
So, but Bass Pro has a contract with CCI and Federal and Winchester and Cellular and Below and all that, or the distributors for those companies, right? And because they have that contract that has to be honored, they're going to pay a penalty if they don't honor that. They're going to fill those orders. Plus, these are, they're not going to send a pallet of primers to Joe Blow gun store in nowhere, Indiana, but they'll send a pallet of primers to Bass Pro Shop. So sometimes it's not even a matter of saving money or, a jerk small business owner. It's, you got to go where they've got it. And that small business owner is going to go, look, man, I cannot, sign a contract where I'm obligated to buy $1 million worth of ammo and stuff every year from I can't do it. And that's part of the reason why they can't compete. But they do have the leeway to do things that the big box stores don't necessarily do. They don't have those corporate rules because they own the business. So they could use that to their advantage to compete, I think.
Yeah, well, from what I can figure out from this conversation, New York Outcast has a hard-on for mom and pop stores, and Jason has a hard-on for box stores. Rural King, especially.
So, going on what Squib said too, mom and pop stores can compete price-wise. Tamarack Armory at my local LGS, I plug them at the end of my Tuesday and Thursday show and Saturday show. Like clockwork now, and
so everything else is tainted.
No. What do you mean? Like nobody's better than them? Yeah, I'd say they're pretty friggin' awesome. But
He just wanted to say taint.
he did. But no, their prices are incredible, and that's one reason. When I approached him, I was like, "Hey, want to be like a sponsor?" Which I don't even know what the hell I get at this point. Uh, I just told him, I just want to help you sell more guns. It's like, you guys have great customer service. You got amazing prices. I periodically somebody will come in with something to have fixed because Mike does gunsmithing, or they'll come in and they'll be like, "Hey, I just ordered this offline, and can I get your FFL number or something?" And then he'll be like, "Hey, so instead of buying that offline or going and getting that up at Field and Stream or some crap, stop in, see if we can order it for you." And there's been multiple times where he's like, "We could have saved this person $80 if they wouldn't have gone to the box store." And likewise, ammo prices, it depends on what it is, but again, very competitive with ammo. But I'm fortunate where I was able to find them, and they're local, and I realize not everybody is able to have that mom and pop shop that is competitive like that, but there are ones that are out there and exist that can do it.
Yeah, but I think it comes down to the individual. I mean, like the one store I go to the most is Dave's Gun Shop. I think that they'd be nice to me. The only thing, they don't have any primers, but they got everything else that I need, right? But I've mentioned this to other people I know around here, and they go, "Can't stand the place," because they done this to me or whatever. Then there's another store down in Jasper, which the guy in there I think sucks, and people say greatest gun store in the neighborhood. So I think it's a matter of how you feel about a place. Same
So
with the
you got to
box
find the
stores.
one for you.
That's right.
And in the end, I still think, he's saying they can be competitive. I still think personally, unless you're working some type of deal or something with them,
Hey,
if you're Jason, where you buy a half of every gun that comes into place, from what I've seen in my experiences, any smaller gun shops are more expensive. But I don't mind paying a little bit more.
you know
It's
why
when
you
they
guys
get
are having
crazy with
trouble?
stuff.
The reason you guys are having trouble is because you eat mac and cheese.
No.
No, that gets us all plugged up. We don't have to worry about our tanks being dirty or anything.
Yeah.
Well,
For me, the best part about giving all my business to a mom and pop store is I'm confident and I feel safe there. If I went in and told Steve, I said, let me see that Glock. I think I'll buy that Glock. They would call 911. They'd be like, 50-year-old male. He's suffering from loss of taste
Mental eval.
and a lack of common sense.
Yep.
You become an individual and not just a number.
Let's
So,
say,
like Jason said before, or somebody was stating about small businesses like that. If you do have an issue, or if you're looking for something, something comes up, they'll give you a call. Stuff like that, doesn't usually happen.
Yeah, and that's hard to find
places.
in the box store.
Yeah. And when you purchase a firearm, there's no bullshit. They don't ask, what are you going to do with it and all this other stuff. It's just, you're legal, it's yours, as long as you got the money. And they love cash.
Who has ever been asked what they're going to do with a gun when they
Walmart.
bought it?
Walmart. I seen them ask. Yeah, they asked all types of shit. I got into it when a lady was trying to buy a shotgun with a guy. I was waiting to get ammo. This is years ago. And the dude, read her the riot act and this and that. And it wasn't he almost wasn't going to sell it to her. And there were so many questions. I couldn't help myself but say something. And by the end of the conversation, the guy clearly told me that he wouldn't sell me anything. And I told him, well, good, because I wouldn't buy a firearm from here anyway. But yeah, that's way too much information.
Hang on a minute. Tactical Fud and myself have a question. Did we hear you right that you said you're willing to pay more?
Yeah, for good service. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But I'm
Willing to
talking
pay more.
reasonable more. A
Let's
couple
write this
bucks.
thing
I'm not
down,
paying
everybody.
$5 a box more.
You know?
What did Jason just say a minute ago about this man is suffering from whatever?
Lack of common sense.
Yeah, Rob's gonna pay more. Jesus.
I forgot one of the most important stories that I do have about Royal King. Happens to a friend of mine, his boy. I don't know if it's all of them, but this is what my one. I done told you I got a terrible Royal King. Friend of mine's son, Cody, he's 18 years old. He goes into Royal King and he buys the High Point carbine. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He gets the High Point carbine and he loves it. And he turns around. He's 18 years old. You're allowed to buy a carbine. They will not sell him 9mm ammunition.
Yep.
But even though he's 18 years old, they will not sell him 9mm ammunition for the gun that they just sold him because they call it a handgun and you got to be 21 to buy handgun ammunition.
Walmart and here is like that. And they want to see your pistol permit before you can purchase any.
I didn't know you had to have I didn't know you had to have a qualifying age limit for your constitutional God-given rights.
Well, and again, folks, this is why, buying from the big box stores, while you might save a couple pennies, it's not going to be good in the long run, because at the end of the day, if your mom and pop shops end up closing down, where do you have to go? The big box stores. And when the big box stores want to give into the social justice BS and whatever the friggin' next thing to be virtue signaled is, look at Dick's. Dick's was like, we're not going to sell guns anymore. Dick's is still in business. Everybody's like, oh, they're going to go out of business. Well, so much for that. I told everybody it's not going to happen. But I'm not saying anybody on this panel or anything, but people that would make that say, oh, we're going to put them out of business. No, you're not. Guns aren't enough of Dick's business to put them out of business. And that's the thing. It's not enough of Walmart's business. It's not enough of anybody else's business, Rural King or Family Farm and Home or any place like that it's going to put them out of business. They have no vested interest in your Second Amendment rights, because at the end of the day, they don't have to sell guns to stay in business. But who does have to sell guns to stay in business? Your mom and pop gun shop. That's a gun shop, and they have a vested interest in your Second Amendment rights.
Absolutely.
I'm all for supporting your local gun store, but just not the ones that are jerks. I'm not. I go to them if I have to, just like going to any other type of business because I have to, because they're the ones that have it, or that's within the price range, or whatever constraints I guess I'm putting on myself, really more so. But the ones that are just really poor business people or just have an attitude problem or what, I don't want to give them my money. So I think some of these small businesses do in themselves. I can understand where you're coming from, though, saying, if we just always go to Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's, then the LGS will close down. I don't want to give anybody my money out of pity. I'm not into this charity BS, but I just think that if you want your small business to succeed, just run it well. Treat your customers well. Obviously, there's certain people you're never going to be able to make happy, or just, it's your business. At the end of the day, if you don't want to deal with this person, don't deal with this person. I mean,
100%.
Yeah, but that'll weed out the bad ones, I guess.
Back in September, before I moved, there was a gun shop that it would have been about a 2.5 mile walk for me to go to if I really wanted to go there. Problem was, they sucked. In the last 3-4 years, there had been 6 or 7 different things that I have corrected them on, that they had listed wrong and things like that. And every time I pointed out to them or something like that, they get pissy, but I'm like, it's wrong. I can let you keep advertising it that way, but it's going to piss off a lot of people. I'm trying to help you out here. But the reason I would keep going back there is every once in a while, I find that diamond in the rough. Pretty much everything was way overpriced, but every once in a while, there is that super awesome deal. So I'd poke my head in there every once in a while, and most of the time I just end up leaving empty-handed. But case in point, they had a 1953 Model 99 300 Savage for $400. That's an $800 gun at any friggin' gun show I go to around here. I was like, this is why I continue to come in here. I don't typically give them my money, but every once in a while, if it's gonna benefit me to find a deal like that, I'm gonna at least keep poking my head in. But yeah, I'm with you, Squib. Like if that shop went out of business tomorrow, whatever, I wouldn't miss it.
Man, but every time you open the door and stick your head in, they go, "Oh fuck, here he is again."
Probably.
Yeah. And more than likely on that rifle, they more like didn't know what they had.
Yep, and I took full advantage of it.
Yeah. And that's why small businesses go out of business.
I think the attitude's definitely a problem with some of the smaller ones. I mean, I bring it up before.
Definitely.
Squibs bring it up. Sometimes it's just it's just such a turnoff, and the way they approach it or this and that. I don't know. I realize you deal with a lot of idiots and stuff like that, but there's a general way to deal with a customer. You know what I mean?
That was something I was needing to ask in New York. Is it partly because of you being in New York, just with the mom and pop shops not being able to compete with the big box stores, and I imagine they might be getting more idiots than say shops in my area.
Well, I'd include my area is PA because as far as my network of gun shops, I'm used to traveling an hour or two. So,
okay.
So half of my gun shop experience on average local would also probably include PA. So,
gotcha.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure you've all seen it or whatever. But some of these places, it's just chip on the shoulder, this or that. They don't want to even talk to you half the time. You want it or not. You ask any questions, they get annoyed. And that's not everywhere, but some places, great atmosphere. Feel like you could hang out there all day, bullshitting, and it wouldn't be an issue either way. Other places, it seems like, like Squib saying, I don't want to give them my money.
Business, people might think that you have an attitude.
I don't think so. I wouldn't think so.
So New York, have you ever noticed any differences between the PA shops and New York shops? With the prices and more so. I mean, obviously, by the sounds of it, you experience this different attitudes in both sides. But do you experience it in one state more than the other?
No, I'd honestly say it's kind of hit or miss. There's no pattern that I've seen. So, in a sense, I can state the one person I came across that, I seen as the worst one I've dealt with yet, was in PA. So I can state that, the lady and the kid claimed that think he was a racist or whatever, but I just think he was an asshole, and there's no way to really tell. But he did treat me totally different than somebody else, the other people in there. But that's a whole long story. So my worst experience has been in PA. But other than that, I couldn't say there's any pattern to it, and I wouldn't, put it towards me. I mean, maybe there is a difference with me because I am the oddball in both places. But usually, I think I get treated like I'd like to think like anybody else. It's just whether they know you or not. If you're a regular or not.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wind this up. I know it's thing like that for two reasons. One, my cats need feeding. Two, I need to go to the bathroom. And so I'm going to. And hey, did you guys know that I am depressed? Because in 2 days, Monday, I'm officially an old man.
Eat some mac and cheese. It'll make you feel better.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
You know, I'll be 65.
Oh, snap.
You know, and that's officially an old man. You know,
Yeah,
Means you need to go buy a 1911.
it means
I
I
got-
lose I lose my disability status and just get plain Social Security. I mean, the money doesn't change or anything, but it's just right now I'm under Social Security disability. My next check will be just regular Social Security. You know, that's what I've been told. You know, so
I'll let you know if you're going to get more. If my taxes go up, I know who did it.
okay, all right. Anyway, let's wind this up. Guns and Barbecue. You got any plugs or shout outs?
I've got the barbecue show tonight at 9:30 ish. We always start late. Moo and I, or me and TPC, whoever, we get to talking into the pre-chat. Next thing you know, it's like, oh crap, we probably should have been live like 10 minutes ago. So it's like 9:30 ish. If you want to show up late, that's cool because we're gonna start late, almost guaranteed. Also, I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers now. I'm trying to hit that mark by the end of the month. We'll see if I'm able to do it or not. I'm kind of setting the bar high, but I think it's something that's doable. So I'm going to try and push for it, but we'll see. And then the Tuesday and Thursday show. And again, I'd just like to encourage everybody, seek out a good local mom and pop shop. Chances are you've got a ton of them around you. You just don't realize it. Go visit all of them, deal with them, and realize if you have a bad first experience, they might have just had a bad day or could have just got done dealing with an asshole customer. It happens. So, maybe a week or next month or something, go check them out again. If it's the same deal, yeah, ditch them. But if you have a better experience or something, maybe give them a shot. Yeah, check out your mom and pop shops.
All right. And make sure when you go to this new store that Guns and Barbecue hasn't been in there before you. Because he'll be the asshole customer telling them, oh, your sign's wrong there. You know?
No, it's not well, I guess technically it is a sign being wrong, but the problem is, like, the
How
one
is
time
the
he's like,
blind guy
this is,
spot all the
I
typos?
know. I'm just messing with you.
I take photos of it.
I'm just messing with you.
I just go in now. I don't even care. I just start taking photos of tags, which I think they realize, oh, okay, he's blind. I used to ask and be like, hey, do you care if I snap some photos of these tags so I can blow them up so I can try and see them? And they're like, oh, no problem. Then I just go in places now. I don't care. What are they going to do? Yell at me? I'm like, hey, I'm blind. This is how I'm going to see it. If you don't like that, I can just go and take this wad of cash that I have with me along with me to the next shop. But otherwise, let me take the photos. But yeah, like the one time they had the North American Arms mini revolver and they had it labeled as an Earl, and I'm not an expert on mini revolvers, but I was like, I'm pretty sure this is an Earl. So then I sent a message to G-Webs. It's like, you have a ton of these. He's like, yeah, that's definitely not an Earl. It's whatever the heck. And he told me, and I went back. I was like, yeah, you might want to look that up again. They're like, why? I was like, it's not an Earl. They're like, yeah, it is. I was like, I promise you that is not an Earl. And then they looked it up. They're like, oh, thanks. I'm like, you're welcome.
An Earl? Isn't that what CloverTech changes in his engine every 3 months or 3,000 miles?
Something like that.
Him and Snob.
All right, Jason, you got anything?
No, thanks for the invite, man. Good to see y'all.
Good to see you again.
Go check out everybody else tonight, man.
Yeah.
G23 will be on. Guns Barbecue. Rich White will be doing his wrestling chat later, and
Yeah, 5
it'll
past
only
9.
it'll only be wrestling for a little bit, and then it'll go off the rails to something else. So yeah, just hang out on YouTube with everybody, man, and enjoy your day.
All right. New York Outcast, you got anything?
Sure. R&L displays to support your firearms. Eat a salad. Use cash. Catch you next time.
All right. Support your local store, rnldisplays.com. There you go. All right. Squib, you got anything?
Shop at Amazon.
Yeah, their prices are even going up too. Oh, and I'm getting rid of it. Prime, Amazon Prime prices are going up. I think the yearly fee's going up, but the monthly one's going up from sort of like $12.99 to $14.99 or something like that, starting next month. I mean, shit. I don't know why,
It's the $2 that broke the camel's back.
That's right. I mean, really, because when I was living in Rhode Island, I got the 2-day shipping. Here, I'll allow them the 2 days to get it just to throw it in the shipping, but it still takes another 2 or 3 days to get to me. Guaranteed, if I order something on a Monday, I won't get it until the following Monday, and I'm paying for 2-day service. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, you're paying for 2-day shipping. You're not paying for that day for them to put it in a box and ship it to you. That's the gimmick. That's what everybody falls for. I get it when somebody says they get the music service or the TV service or whatever with the Prime, so that's why they have it. That makes more sense. But paying for Amazon Prime to get the 2-day shipping, it's a scam.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I can't remember the last time I watched Amazon Prime. You know what I'm saying? The movies or whatever. So I'm just going to cancel mine. Plus it will save me $12.99 a month, won't it? That I could buy fried chicken down at Deb's Diner. Cash.
You get 1 3/4 sleeves of primer.
True. Actually, my buddy and I were going down next Tuesday or Wednesday down to the local gun shops to see if there's any primers around. So. All right, did I get everybody? Yes, I did. All right, I want to say thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I'll be back on Wednesday at 7:00. My brain went there. Yeah. So it's my son's birthday tomorrow, my oldest one. God, he'll be 40. Jesus Christ. And it's my birthday on Monday. So since he was born.
Holy cow, you didn't lose your virginity till you're 24?
Yeah. So that's when I finally got married. Where I was going with this is that when I was married, I never got another birthday cake ever, because his was the day before mine. I would get my ex-wife would give me whatever was left over of his for my birthday. Sucked. It really did. Oh. Anyway, so I will be back on Wednesday at 7 p.m. So I will see you all then. So good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. Goodbye, Sabrina.
Happy birthday.